Discover how a poor orphan's unexpected marriage to a humble man revealed an incredible billion-dollar secret. Mia had always been the least likely to succeed, growing up in a world that had repeatedly shown her that she was disposable. Each night as she hustled at the diner, the chatter of customers faded into the background, replaced by her racing thoughts. Scrubbing tables and taking orders felt like a warm-up for the biggest challenge of her life, her dreams of becoming an inventor crashing against the reality of life in a small town. Every coin earned seemed more like a weight on her shoulders than actual currency. The great unknown loomed around her, promising nothing but uncertainty. One stubborn light in her life came when she met Jake. The rugged handyman, with his strong hands and easy smile, looked far too good for someone like her. But there was comfort in his blue-collar charm, no airs, no pretenses. Yet with each stolen glance, a torrent of anxiety surged through her veins. Who was she to deserve a love from someone perceived charming and grounded? She felt pinched, a knot tightened in her gut as she imagined how their very different worlds clashed. Could a girl like her, an orphan, ever really be enough for a man shaped by privilege, even by his innocent demeanor? But Mia had found a confidant in Jake, a bridge to a world she yearned for yet feared. The thrilling newness of their connection anchored her, even as every laugh echoed the ghosts of self-doubt. And then came the moments of overwhelming anguish, sparked by his family's rigid expectations. The whispers of Jake's relatives dug deep, clawing at the edges of her self-worth. "What does he see in you?" rang in her mind like an incessant drumbeat. Before we continue, I need to tell you about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, click the bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can leave a like, it really helps with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. If facing Jake's family wasn't hard enough, her own desires felt like shackles. Pursuing a technological innovation contest, her dream had morphed into another hurdle, an open wound reminding her of her own shaky foundation. Ideas blossomed like weeds, impossible yet enchanting, each one tugged on her heart like a lifeline and a noose at the same time. The fear of failing, of exposing her vulnerabilities, was almost paralyzing. Yet the drive to succeed cried louder. Moments alone with her thoughts clawed at her. The silence in her small apartment became daunting as she sifted through boxes left behind by previous tenants. Little did she know, one fleeting glance at family records would unravel more than a reluctance to move forward. Shock rippled through her, hair-raising revelations about her past swept her off balance. It felt like she'd discovered a whole new version of herself. Was she truly capable of this potential? In that moment of anguish, she realized everything was about to shift. But now that the foundations of her identity were trembling beneath her, Mia faced a maddening dilemma. Should she broach this with Jake and risk shattering their fragile world, or hide her next steps? No way out, every breath came heavy with indecision. Mia was standing at the edge, staring down into black uncertainty. What if her past threatened her future? If she opened that door, would love still remain on the other side? Torn between the life she'd built and an unseen future, Mia was left spiraling into the abyss of possibilities, knowing the stakes had never felt higher. Mia sat on the floor of her dimly lit apartment, surrounded by papers and memories, fragments of a past she had long tried to escape. As the shadows blended into the corners of the room, she confronted the swirling tempest inside her mind. Was she ready to embrace the truth she had uncovered about her lineage? The thought felt terrifying, as though unlocking a door long sealed would bring forth not just clarity but chaos. The clock ticked mercilessly, reminding her of the deadline for the innovation contest looming ever closer. What if the revelation about her identity could fuel her entry? The thought was intoxicating, yet it came at a price. Mia fought with the notion that perhaps her newfound understanding of herself was merely a distraction, a temporary escape from the mountain of doubt that constricted her heart. Inhaling deeply, she reached for her sketches. Each design represented more than a dream, they were stones stacked in her path toward a future she'd visualized since childhood. There was something inherently powerful in drawing a line through the chaos, and for the first time, she felt the urge building inside her not just to participate, but to claim her place among the innovators. The fear of failure began to morph into a fierce determination to prove herself. But then, the weight of Jake's family's expectations pressed against her ribs. She could almost hear their voices echoing, questioning, scrutinizing. Each remark concerning her inadequacies lingered like poison in her veins. Her love for Jake felt like a tether, one she feared might snap if she couldn't rise to their standards. Every moment spent mulling over the implications of her identity felt like a betrayal toward him. If she were to succeed, could it be within a shadow of their doubt? A dilemma swelled: could she pursue her goals without jeopardizing their relationship? With newfound resolve, she tore herself away from the floor, deciding she had to confront this rising tension. The fear of failure would not define her, she had come too far to let others dictate her narrative. Mia slipped on her worn shoes, the simple act grounding her, and took a moment to breathe through the anxiety. She would talk to Jake. Not just about her revelations, but also about her dreams. She stepped outside into the brisk air, feeling as if she were entering another realm, one where possibility lived side by side with uncertainty. Utilizing her surroundings, she envisioned her inventions gliding effortlessly through the market, making a difference in lives while echoing her own transformation. Jake's workshop, a haven of creativity filled with tools, felt both inviting and intimidating. As she entered, she found Jake focused on some project, his brow furrowed in concentration. A surge of affection warmed her chest. Here was someone who believed in her. Would this belief be enough to bridge the divide between their worlds? Mia. He looked up with a genuine smile that sparked a flutter of hope within her. You okay? I need to talk, she breathed out, masking her apprehension. It's important. His expression shifted, concern mingled with curiosity. They had always been candid with each other, but this felt different. As she stood, gripping her sketches tightly, she understood that this conversation drastically changed everything. I want to share something about my past and my dreams, she said, determination bleeding into her resolve. Jake's eyes darkened, hinting that the depth of the conversation ahead could redefine them both. Would the unveiling of her past ignite a foundation of trust or spark a fissure between them? As she prepared to share, the stakes rose into the atmosphere, demanding clarity in the moments to come. But the true test was yet to unfold. Mia was on the precipice of self-discovery that would challenge both their realities. Would she emerge empowered, or would she find herself lost in the shadows of doubt once more? Mia took a breath, her heart racing as she stood in the workshop. The tools surrounding her felt like symbols of countless possibilities and unexamined skills that she had never fully tapped into. This was her moment, a chance to shape both her past and future. Jake, she began, her voice wavering slightly. I didn't grow up the way you think I did. My family, my heritage is complicated. The words felt weighted, like stones dropping into still water. She could see Jake processing the shift, searching her expression for clues. Complicated how? He asked cautiously. Every syllable held the promise of a deeper understanding or a disconnection she dreaded. Mia recounted fragments of her childhood, the struggle for identity and the brittle memories of a family that felt foreign. As her story unfolded, she discovered the power her own narrative held. It was not just a confession, it was a reclamation of who she was. She had spent so long running away from her past, yet recounting it felt liberating, loosening chains she hadn't noticed encircling her spirit. For every obstacle she revealed, Mia saw reflections in Jake's eyes, understanding combined with concern, stirring empathy within him. This wasn't just about her anymore, this was about them. She explained how she believed that understanding her background could catalyze her designs, transforming personal struggle into artistic expression. Each product, she envisioned, would serve as a vessel to honor her journey and provide inspiration for others navigating similar paths. As she spoke, Jake's demeanor softened, the initial tension ebbing. You're not alone in this, he said. Whatever happens, we'll figure it out together. Those words resonated deeply within her, quelling the storm of doubt that threatened to overshadow her ambitions. Yet another wave of anxiety surged as she recognized that they could easily spiral into a confrontation about their relationship. Did he genuinely believe in her vision, or was he just attempting to comfort her in the moment of vulnerability? With determination settling back into her bones, Mia thought about the innovation contest. She needed to articulate how her identity would shape the designs she sought to create. Would they carry an essence of her resilience, or would they fall flat in the face of skepticism? The weight of the world seemed to rest on her shoulders as she grappled with self-doubt. Do you think I can actually compete? I mean, truly stand a chance? She asked hesitantly. It was a question not just about the contest, but a reflection of her entire journey towards self-acceptance and achievement. Jake stepped closer, his presence both reassuring and provocative. You have to believe in yourself first, he said quietly. You're the one with the vision, Mia. Channel that into your work. As he spoke, something flickered in her heart. This might be the moment when she truly transformed chaotic memories into tangible innovation. But what if his faith in her remained tethered to her past instead of her present potential? Mia turned away, her glance drifting to the tools stacked on the workbench, a metaphor for the iterations of herself waiting to be forged into something powerful. An idea percolated within her. Design wasn't just about aesthetics, it was an embodiment of struggle, a tribute to voice. She shifted her focus back to Jake, determination surging forward. I want to create something significant, something that tells my story and that of others who felt unheard. I can do this, but... He echoed, prompting her to confront her fears. But what if I fail? The words came out sharper than she intended, exposing her vulnerability once more. Jake's response was instant. And what if you don't? What if this is the breakthrough you've been waiting for? You've already proven you can overcome great obstacles. This is just one more. His words rang in her ears, and as she looked at her sketches, they began to shimmer with potential. The anxiety that had anchored her now glimmered like a beacon, urging her to leap into the unknown. But then, a thought struck her like an ice shard. What if this clarity brought unforeseen challenges? What if the people she wanted to inspire were still not ready for her truth? Mia shivered at the possibility. Would the pursuit of her dreams unravel the very fabric of her current life, or could embracing her identity power her ascent? Just as she was ready to voice another revelation, a crash sounded from the back of the workshop. They both turned sharply to see a box of materials spilling across the floor, startling her from the introspection. This interruption was a reminder of the unpredictability that lay ahead, a foreshadowing of the hurdles they would have to navigate. Would Mia harness this moment to propel herself forward, or would the chaos overwhelm her? The stakes were rising, and it was clear that the journey ahead would demand more than she had anticipated. An invisible weight pressed against her chest, reminding her that her success was contingent not only on her ability to innovate but also on her willingness to confront every shadow that loomed in her past. As Mia took a step toward the chaos, she felt the pull of the unknown urging her deeper into the heart of a tumultuous journey. The narrative of her life was shifting, and in the unfolding chapters, revelations awaited. What would she discover about herself in the tumult that was yet to come? Mia stood frozen for a moment, absorbing the disarray before her. The spilled materials mirrored her internal chaos, reflecting fragments of her own life scattered across the floor. It was as if the workshop was pushing her to confront the tumult she had kept at bay for so long. She took a step closer, feeling the gritty texture of the materials underfoot, a tangible reminder of the unpredictability of her journey ahead. Are you okay? Jake asked, his voice cutting through her fog of thoughts. There was concern etched into his features, but Mia was surprised to find that his presence, typically a source of calm, only seemed to heighten her awareness of the impending challenges. I'm fine, she replied automatically, though the reply felt hollow against the growing intensity within her. She was not fine. Besides the chaos at her feet, she was grappling with a more profound sense of dread, the fear that her desires might not just change her career but also disrupt the fragile balance she had in her personal life. As she bent down to collect the scattered materials, a surge of determination overcame her. Each piece she picked up felt like a metaphorical building block. Were they not symbols of her ambitions? This contest was not merely a platform to showcase her designs, it was a reckoning. "Let us clean this up," she said with newfound resolve, her voice steadier than before. "We can't let a little mess derail us." Jake knelt beside her, and together they returned order to the workshop. The silence between them was charged. It was no longer merely about the tools and materials, but about the interplay of their aspirations, fears, and the partnership they were tentatively nurturing. As they worked side by side, Mia's mind raced with design concepts. Could her story resonate with the materials themselves? What if each product not only shared her journey but also elevated the voices of others she wanted to uplift? She envisioned each creation adorned with messages of resilience, tempered by the furnace of her past. "Do you think transcending my experiences into design might empower others?" Mia pondered, breaking the silence as they gathered the last items. The question lingered between them like a promise waiting to be fulfilled. Jake paused, studying her with a deep, contemplative gaze. "Transformation always comes with risks. But channeling your story is powerful. It's raw, and that authenticity could draw people in." His words ignited a flame of possibility within her, but amid that flickering light, doubt still lingered. What if her authenticity was met with rejection? What if the very narrative she wanted to embrace thrust them further apart? With the workshop restored, she stepped back, surveying the space. The urge to create surged through her veins, fueled by the chaos they had just quelled. But with this drive came a weighty realization: her identity and aspirations could alienate her from those around her, Jake included. A shadow loomed at the edge of her thoughts as she considered the ramifications of revealing her truth. Each design she crafted would lay bare pieces of her soul. Would Jake find strength in her vulnerability, or would it distance him, expose fractures in their relationship that they weren't equipped to mend? "Mia," Jake's voice broke through her internal struggle, pulling her back into the moment. "You can't hold back. It's what makes your vision unique." But could she afford to expose everything? The very essence of her identity lay intricately tied to her past, yet successfully navigating her future hinged on breaking free from it. Mia inhaled, centering herself before voicing her deepest concern. "What if, in doing this, I lose myself, or worse, I lose you?" The vulnerability of her question hung heavy in the air, a tangible tension threading through the space between them. Jake studied her, and for a heartbeat, silencio enveloped them, amplifying the uncertainty of what lay ahead. "We'll face it together," he finally said, but Mia caught a flicker of uncertainty in his eyes. Would their combined resolve be enough to weather the storm she was about to unleash? The stakes had just risen dramatically. The workshop felt like a crucible, a place where transformation would occur, but was she ready to test her limits? The reflection in the tools hinted at the unknown path ahead, and with every fiber of her being, Mia realized she was not merely on the brink of professional development, she was at the edge of personal rebirth. As the weight of the moment settled heavily in her chest, she understood a pivotal choice lay ahead. Would she risk it all and embrace her truth, or would she retreat into the safety of the known? The next chapter awaited on the horizon, cloaked in uncertainty yet whispering promises of freedom. Would stepping into her authenticity yield liberation or shatter the carefully constructed walls around her? Mia clenched her fists at her sides, drawing in a deep breath. The air felt charged, brimming with possibilities, each one laced with trepidation. No longer could she shy away from the gravity of her situation. Navigating the complexities of her evolving identity would require skill and courage. As she hesitated, thoughts of past dreams flickered in her mind like an old film. The vision she had once chased with fervor now felt daunting, a spiraling vortex pushing her toward an uncertain future. Each design reflected not only her aspirations but the shadows of her past, the scars and triumphs that had contributed to the tapestry of her life. It was exhilarating and terrifying to consider thrusting those pieces into the light. Jake was still beside her, his presence grounding her as she wrestled with the internal storm. What do I want? She muttered, and the question settled into her thoughts like a weight. The clarity she craved eluded her as uncertainty stretched before her like a vast, uncharted ocean. Why don't we brainstorm? Jake suggested, a hint of enthusiasm lightening his tone. Let us put ideas on the table. What do you want to speak through your designs? The unexpected focus on collaboration spurred her into action. Mia dug through the multitude of materials still scattered around the workshop. Textiles spoke a language of their own, full of potential stories waiting to be unraveled. She picked up a soft piece of fabric and felt its texture between her fingers. I want to rescue these discarded bits and give them life again. Each piece should represent resilience, my journey and the journeys of others. Jake nodded, his eyes glimmering with understanding. That's it. Each creation can be an homage to strength. And by narrating your story, you already draw people in. Mia's heart raced as the idea took shape. What if I included elements that represent community? Not in the sense of collecting voices, but showing how our experiences, separate yet intertwined, share a common thread? She looked at Jake, whose expression reflected intrigue and support. For a moment, she was on fire with inspiration, envisioning not just her designs but how they could evoke shared human experiences, turning her vulnerabilities into beacons of hope. Each design would not just be a product but a conversation starter, urging others to step forward and share their narratives. Doubt, however, lingered like a specter in the shadows of her mind. But what if people perceive my story as weakness instead of strength? What if I put myself out there and it backfires? Jake placed a gentle hand on her shoulder, reinforcing the connection they were building. You're redefining what it means to be vulnerable. It'll resonate with those who need it most. It's about converting those fears into fuel for your creativity. The weight of his words settled upon her, creating a delicate balance within. His unwavering belief began to fortify her, but the specter of backlash loomed large. If she moved forward, how would others react to the unveiling of her truth? Timing struck her as the moment of decision landed heavily in her chest. Transformation invited unfamiliar risks, and despite the exhilaration of creativity, the fear of rejection was palpable. She had spent years cloaking her identity behind a curated facade. Stepping into her truth threatened to collapse everything she had meticulously built. Yet, hadn't she already started to dismantle that facade by simply questioning it? Mia took a deep breath, resolving that each design would be the manifestation of both her past and her hopes for the future. She would not be obscured by rejection, instead, she'd be accepted as part of the journey. Her life wasn't merely about storage and pursuit, it was about revealing, reflecting, and reconnecting. What if I embraced this completely? She whispered more to herself than to Jake. What if I decide to trust this path? Then we'll navigate it together, step by step. Jake's voice anchored her back into the present, blending reassurance with challenge. Mia's resolve sharpened, but a haunting question brushed against her mind like a cold wind. Would trusting this path mean severing ties to the past, or could it instead create a bridge to a more authentic self? As she deliberated the dimensions of this unfolding design, Mia sensed turbulence stirring deep within. The workshop, once an echo of her chaos, had morphed into a sanctuary of potential, where her fears waited to be confronted and challenged. With a deep inhalation, she leaned into the uncertainty, sensing it almost as a companion, invigorating yet intimidating. The next steps loomed large, ripe with every possibility, and that was both exhilarating and terrifying. Was she ready to step fully into her authenticity? A rush pooled in her stomach, displacing the lingering tension as she prepared to chart her course. Mia understood now that the answers would unfold with every creation. Their power held a promise that transcended her fears. But would she be prepared for the revelations and consequences that awaited her as she ventured deeper into the unknown? Mia stood in the workshop, surrounded by the remnants of her past and the raw materials of her future. Her body buzzed with a mixture of electric anticipation and gnawing anxiety. Each fabric, every sketch, whispered secrets she had long tucked away. But now, she felt the urge to bring those whispers to life, to create, and it began with a decision. Jake was leaning against the drafting table, a quiet smile on his face, giving her space while simultaneously offering support. "We can start right now," he said. "What do you envision?" She could see it so clearly, the vision taking shape before her. "I want to tell a story," Mia said, her voice gaining strength. "Not just my story but a collective narrative of resilience, of struggle and triumph." As she spoke, tendrils of inspiration tightened around her thoughts. The fear that had gripped her felt lighter as she envisioned bold colors contrasting with muted tones, the dichotomy representing the balance of pain and strength. But, as quickly as her ideas flourished, the familiar apprehensions swirled back, a reminder of her long-standing hesitations. "Do you think people will connect with that?" she asked, her brow furrowing. "What if they don't see the beauty in it?" He considered her question thoughtfully. "There's always risk in vulnerability, but that's where true connection begins. It's about honesty. Your struggles aren't just yours, they resonate with others. That might just unlock something transformative for them." Mia searched Jake's face for certainty, but his steady gaze mirrored her internal battle. "It's terrifying," she finally admitted. "What if I expose myself and they reject it? What if they see me as a failure?" Jake stepped closer, his voice warm and steady. "What if they don't? What if your story inspires someone else? What if it opens the door for someone else's truth?" The weight of those questions forced her to blink back a rising tide of emotion. Each what if felt like a thread tangling and loosening within her, woven by years of self-doubt and moments of clarity. The light in Jake's eyes ignited a flicker of defiance within her. "Okay, let's do this," Mia declared, her voice shaking but determined. "Let's start with my sketches. I'll focus on the themes of resilience. If I can reflect strength through my designs, maybe I can reclaim the narrative I've been carrying." As she reached for her pencil, a wave of exhilaration washed over her. It was as though starting this project unearthed a powerful sense of agency. She began sketching lines converging in harmony, colors colliding with intentional purpose. Hours slipped by in creative fervor. Mia found her rhythm, excitement boiling over as each design unfolded like a chapter in a story only she could tell. But in moments of silence, doubt crept back, curling ice-cold around her heart. As each sketch progressed, she worried about how to share these pieces. What if their stories were misconstrued? What if criticism cut deeper than any previous rejection? Jake hovered nearby, focused on his own work yet acutely aware of her transitions. "You're doing great, Mia," he encouraged. And though his words soothed her doubts, she remained acutely aware of the stakes. By twilight, a small collection had emerged, a testament to her journey. Mia cradled the sketches, feeling both pride and dread wash over her. Would they reveal her authentic self, or would they invite judgment she wasn't ready to face? She paused and gazed out the workshop window, the world beyond painted in hues of orange and pink. Each sunset symbolized an ending but also a promise of renewal. What would emerge from her own darkening sky? Determined to move forward, Mia whispered to herself, "I won't allow fear to paralyze me." Her heart raced at the prospect of vulnerability, and as she returned to her desk, she knew she couldn't turn back now. But when morning came, the moment of truth awaited the unveiling. How would she navigate this judgment from the world? The tension mounted, both exhilarating and paralyzing. Would these designs fortify her identity, or would they unearth something more profound, leading her to confront yet more powerful truths about what it meant to be genuinely seen in the world? Mia woke to the muffled sounds of the city filtering through her workshop window. The light was muted, holding the promise and dread of a day she had anticipated yet dreaded. Today, the world would see her creations, her soul laid bare in fabric and thread. She sat up, the sketches before her glimmering under the early morning light, an invitation and a challenge. As she prepared for what lay ahead, Mia performed her morning ritual with an intensity she had not felt before, carefully brushing her hair, selecting clothes that felt true to her vision, and even fidgeting with her new needlework tools, each one like a talisman against her anxiety. Today wasn't just about a collection, it was about her identity. Every stitch, every color choice was a testament to the fight within her. She caught sight of herself in the mirror, assessing the woman staring back. Who was she today? The reflection staring back felt like a stranger and a friend simultaneously. The layers of past insecurities began to peel back, revealing someone who had the courage to create and the resolve to be seen. But would that woman withstand scrutiny? Mia took a deep breath, pushing aside the nagging doubts that whispered in her mind. The workshop felt heavier tonight, its corners filled with the looming shadows of her fears. A part of her wanted to retreat, to hide the rawness of her spirit away behind a curtain of safety. But another part, the part that had emerged through creative throes the previous day, urged her to step into the light, to own her narrative. Her phone buzzed, interrupting her thoughts. It was Jake, his text simple but packed with meaning. "Excited to see you shine today." The sincerity of his support warmed her. Her heart raced not just from the text but from the swell of possibility. The question returned, a fierce mantra: what if she inspired someone else? As the hours passed, Mia found herself rehearsing her narrative in her mind. How would she describe her designs? Would she articulate the warmth of belonging, the joy intertwined with pain? Her confidence wavered, she could almost feel the eyes of critics scrutinizing her every word. Just as she began to spiral into doubt, she reminded herself of Jake's kind reassurance. Unrolling her sketches, she studied each design with a newfound determination. They shimmered with intention, each representing not only a piece of her journey but also a celebration of resilience. She had transformed her pain into artistry. Slowly, an undeniable fire began to flicker to life within her. When it was time to leave for the unveiling, Mia stood at the doorway, her stomach a flurry of nerves and excitement. She could almost hear the heartbeat of the world outside, a bustling pulse of creativity and judgment. With a grounding inhale, she stepped out, allowing the vibrant city air to infuse her lungs with purpose. Arriving at the venue, she felt the weight of the atmosphere, a mix of anticipation and apprehension. They had transformed the space into a gallery of dreams, each piece waiting to be unveiled as a part of a larger narrative. Would hers be welcomed? Would they resonate? The voices grew louder, and she took a moment to survey the crowd. Creatives mingled, gesturing excitedly, laughter circling like a warm embrace. An ache pooled in her stomach, she felt like an interloper, yet her heart was alive with a longing to connect. As the event preparations began, Mia's gaze sharpened on the stage where she would soon stand. There was magic in vulnerability, she reminded herself. All she needed was to communicate the truth of her experience through her designs. Afraid but propelled, she stepped forward, her feet moving of their own accord. But just as she took her place among the other designers, a flicker of unease flickered through her, like a phantom reminder of her past failures. What if the audience was ready to pounce on her vulnerabilities? As the first designs were unveiled ahead of hers, she felt her heartbeat in her throat, almost palpable in its insistence. This was not just about creating, it was a beckoning into something deeper. If she wanted to shine, she had to shed the shadow of fear that tailed her. Mia drew a deep breath and stepped confidently into the light, ready to confront the judgment that awaited her while simultaneously seeking the validation she craved. The moment of truth was here. Would this unveiling elevate her or bind her once more in self-doubt? With the first sketch revealed, all eyes turned to her. This was but the beginning, and there was no turning back now. The audience stirred. Would they embrace her vision, or would she be met with the deafening silence of rejection? A hush fell over the room, suffocating and electric. Mia felt the weight of dozens of gazes probing her raw vulnerability. The curtain of uncertainty draped over her, thick and heavy. Would her creations resonate? Would they connect with the darkness and light she had woven together? As the first model stepped onto the stage, showcasing a flowing garment that encapsulated the spirit of her journey, Mia's heart raced. The fabric danced in the light, each fold whispering secrets of resilience. Yet, that initial surge of pride was quickly shadowed by the nagging fear that had haunted her, the self-doubt lurking behind every expertly crafted stitch. What if they saw through the facade? What if they dissected her designs, categorizing them as mere reflections of her past instead of her triumph? A brief glance at the audience revealed mixed expressions. Some leaned forward, intrigue brightening their eyes, while others remained indifferent, their faces carved in skepticism. The second model stepped onto the stage, adorned in a piece that embodied strength with a touch of fragility. Mia's breath caught. It captured her essence perfectly. Yet, had she truly harnessed that duality, or was it a mere act? The moment felt surreal, like watching a dream unfold, and she was both participant and spectator. As the show progressed, Mia's internal narrative morphed. With each model's presentation, she began to visualize the broader context of her work, the stories behind the stitches, the colors melding into emotions. A pulse of confidence ignited within her, stifling the chorus of anxiety. This was her passion turned fabric, it had to matter. Each unveiling became a conversation, the crowd's whispers affirming her growing sense of self. The murmurs of admiration painfully drove home one undeniable fact: her journey was not just personal but universal. She wasn't just trying to convey her struggle, she was translating the human experience. It clicked suddenly, this was why she had sewn each thread together. Yet, the moment of reckoning loomed closer. Mia felt the spotlight shift as the final model prepared to showcase the heart of her collection, redemption. The audacity of the name echoed in her mind, mirroring her own journey from a shadow to a beacon. But as the fabric unfurled, her pulse quickened. She was risking it all with this final piece, the essence of her spirit stripped bare. As the model stepped forth, revealing the intricate layers symbolizing her rebirth, she caught a glimpse of her reflection in the backdrop. For the first time, the woman staring back was strong, aware of her worth. Cheers erupted, but Mia was torn. Part of her wanted to revel in the validation, but another part quietly questioned the authenticity of it all. Were these bursts of applause genuine, or just an acknowledgement of her labor? The shadows of doubt were beginning to dissipate, yet remnants clung stubbornly to her. Then, from the corner of her eye, Mia noticed a figure, a woman, her expression unreadable as she scribbled frantically in a notepad. It was a gesture she couldn't ignore. Who was she? What was she capturing? Every instinct told Mia this was a pivotal moment, a chance to either embrace this unknown woman's gaze or cower back into shyness. As the show concluded and applause washed over her, Mia's heart raced with new questions. She had ventured out, but would the audience's reception translate into opportunities? Was validation merely a fleeting spark, or could it forge genuine connections? The woman approached her as the audience began to disperse, pen poised, eyes inquisitive. "Mia," she said, her tone commanding yet inviting, "this was powerful. But I want to know what's the story behind your piece." Mia's breath quickened. This was not just a moment of inquiry, it was an unexpected invitation to delve deeper into her narrative. How would she respond? The weight of her answer could redefine everything. In the space between, a new chapter awaited her. Would she uncover the layers within herself and share the truths that both frightened and empowered her? With the crowd fading into the background, a spark ignited within. This was only the beginning. Mia's heart thrummed in her chest, her thoughts cascading like a waterfall. The woman before her became a figure of unexpected significance, a reminder that this moment could shape the trajectory of her burgeoning career. "Thank you," Mia began, her voice steadying as she processed the inquiry. "This collection, Redemption, reflects my journey through darkness and finding strength in vulnerability. Each piece carries a part of me." The woman leaned closer, her expression shifting from mere curiosity to profound interest. "I sense there's more beneath the surface. What sparked this collection?" Mia took a breath, weighing her words. This question ventured beyond superficial pleasantries. She wasn't merely discussing fabric designs or color theory, she was being asked for access to the tempest within her, a chance to share the deeper layers of her experience. With her heart drumming in anticipation, she felt both the burden of vulnerability and the thrill of recognition. "I used to believe that my past defined me, that the struggles shaped my identity." She glanced down, tracing her fingers along the edge of the hem of her dress. It was as if the fabric could absorb her insecurities. But through this process, I realized those experiences, painful as they were, also gifted me resilience. This collection is about embracing those struggles, transforming them into something beautiful. The woman nodded, visibly moved. You articulated that beautifully. What led you to the conclusion that transformation was even possible? Mia recalled the moments that had pushed her to the edge, ragged whispers of self-doubt melding with flickers of hope. It was gradual, she admitted. I spent so much time feeling trapped within my fears, but I came to understand that I could either let them consume me or allow them to fuel my creativity. Each design is a testament to choosing to rise. The woman jotted down notes feverishly, the intensity of her gaze suggesting Mia's story resonated beyond mere fabric. This approach could make waves in the industry. Have you considered partnering with anyone to expand your collection? Mia's mind flickered with images of collaborators, of raw energy and ideas intermingling to create something larger than herself. But with that thought came a tight knot of doubt. Would anyone genuinely want to join her journey? I've dreamt of collaboration, she said slowly, but the thought of working with others terrifies me. What if I can't keep up, or worse, what if they dismiss the essence of my work? Facing those fears is your next step, the woman asserted, an unmistakable challenge glinting in her eye. You have a voice worth sharing. Imagine the impact if you allowed others to reflect and amplify that voice. Your story is profound. Don't let fear stifle it. Thoughts swirled as she processed the implications. Part of her longed for safety, to cocoon herself in solitude where she could control her narrative. But another part stronger and burgeoning inspired visions of collaboration that could hold infinite potential. Tonight marks a turning point for you, the woman proposed. I'd like to help you navigate this world beyond your designs, but you must be open to expanding your vision. Are you prepared to embrace that risk? Mia felt the tension tighten in her chest, but a spark ignited behind her eyes. What if? Suddenly, the gravity of the moment settled upon her. This wasn't just an opportunity, it was a dare to unleash herself fully. She needed to confront the lingering fears that had darkened her journey for too long. I'm ready, Mia declared, conviction slicing through her uncertainty. But it will take more than courage, it requires a commitment to my truth. As the woman's notepad filled with plans and ideas, Mia's mind raced with possibilities. This was merely the nascent stage of her evolution, and she sensed that the next steps would demand even more authenticity and depth from her than before. What new challenges awaited her on this path? How would she navigate the delicate balance between vulnerability and strength as she stepped into this new world? The excitement of the unknown hung palpably in the air. Mia stood at the precipice of her transformation, ready to embrace the world she had longed to be a part of. The workshop felt different, a crucible transformed into a springboard of opportunity. Each piece she had created now stood not just as designs but as resilient symbols of her newly forged identity. Her heart thundered with anticipation as she prepared for the next phase of her journey. Months passed since the unveiling, and with each day, Mia grew not only in her craft but in her confidence. Jake's unwavering support fortified her resolve, each conversation a reminder that the blend of vulnerability and ambition was what set her apart. They collaborated on projects, bouncing ideas off each other, turning fears into action plans. Together they nurtured a chemistry that melded personal and professional aspirations into a beautiful harmony. As the seasons changed, so did Mia. She had come to recognize that the challenge of merging her past with her vision was not a burden but a badge of honor. Each setback became a lesson, every critique a stepping stone. The innovation contest she once dreaded now loomed ahead like an invitation to shine, a proving ground for the craft she had perfected. The designs in her portfolio now represented something far greater than success. They showcased a narrative of resilience, a testament that her identity could coexist harmoniously with her ambitions. One crisp autumn day, as she sat reviewing final sketches for the contest, Mia marveled at the metamorphosis she had undergone. No longer did she have to choose between her truth and her aspirations. They were intertwined, weaving a richer tapestry that celebrated not just her journey but also the stories of those who resonated with her struggles. With a swift decision, she formally submitted her entries to the innovation contest. The documents felt heavy and potent, embedded with her narrative, her heart, her identity. It was more than an application, it was a promise to herself and an offering to a world ready to receive. The fear that once immobilized her shrank in the face of undeniable growth. She was ready to confront the unknown. As decision day approached, the anticipation spiraled into a rewarding fever pitch. Mia organized a small gathering with Jake among her closest friends to celebrate the culmination of her journey. Surrounded by laughter, food, and shared dreams, she felt a sense of completeness envelop her, a cherished atmosphere she never thought she could achieve. The day of the contest arrived, and the atmosphere buzzed with excitement and anxiety. Mia stood backstage, her heart racing as she prepared to present her designs. Stepping out before a panel of judges, she felt as if she were both exposed and triumphant, a duality she had learned to embrace. She articulated her vision, her struggles and triumphs woven into every piece she showcased. To her surprise, when she finished, the judges responded not with skepticism but radiant encouragement, their eyes alight with appreciation. "You've showcased not just designs but a profound understanding of identity, resilience, and community," one judge praised. Her heart swelled as validation washed over her. She had turned vulnerability into her greatest strength. In the days that followed, emails flooded in. It was not just the recognition she hoped for but invitations to collaborate with designers, mentors eager to help her navigate the path ahead. The impact of her story transcended her expectations, bridging gaps where she once felt isolated. The woman from the show, now a mentor, stood by Mia's side, helping her refine her vision and expand her reach. As accolades and opportunities began to cascade, Mia looked in the mirror, hardly recognizing the woman reflected back. She had achieved what once seemed impossible, a successful entry into the world of design, underscored by authenticity and strength. The transformation happened not just externally but within. She had conquered the internal battles that once kept her grounded in self-doubt. Now fully immersed in her work, she used her platform to honor others who struggled with their identities, bringing forth voices that might have been silenced. Each product Mia crafted was imbued with empowering narratives, inviting others to share their journeys. Jake encapsulated her new life perfectly. "You've turned your struggles into art, Mia, and you've invited us all to stand beside you in that." The love and support she had long feared would vanish instead grew tenfold, blossoming into a community nurtured by shared experiences. With passion fueling her pursuits, Mia knew she was only at the beginning of her journey. There were still challenges to face, uncertainties ahead, yet she felt invigorated. This life was not about merely navigating through the unknown, but about thriving within it, every fabric and thread telling a part of her profound story. This was her moment, one she had not only discovered but had painstakingly crafted. The future lay ahead, vast and inviting, and for the first time, she felt equipped not just to survive but to conquer. She had transformed. Mia was no longer just a girl from a past of shadows, she had become a beacon of hope for herself and others. So here's the big moment: subscribe immediately to the channel to not miss the next exclusive emotional stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and help more people discover transformative journeys like Mia's. Comment your reactions and theories about this powerful ending. And most importantly, share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this conclusion. It could inspire them to embrace their own transformative paths. Don't wait even one more second to share. Show your support and remind others that they too have the power to rise.